Hey Tommy, you know how long we have owned this Tundra?
Well, I think we bought it at the beginning of December.
Yeah, I think we were one of the first, if not the first in the country to get the Tundra. So now that we've owned it for an entire month, I wanted to give you my opinion. And in fact, Tommy, his opinion, right Tommy?
Yeah, and we're going to talk about everything you need to know before you buy a new Toyota Tundra.
Yeah, so this is a second and third opinion because obviously Andre picked it up in Texas, drove it all the way up here. And in the last month, we've put on 1,200 miles. And you know, Tommy, we've towed with the Tundra, we've taken it off-road. I think we've done about as much as you can do with the Tundra in a month and then be able to express what we've learned about it. So let's start with the design. What do you think of the design?
Well, I can kind of take it or leave it. I know a lot of folks online are pretty, what is the word?
Grumpy?
Yeah, maybe grumpy is the word.
Cheesed?
Cheesed about the front end grille setup on the new Toyota Tundra. In person, I think it looks better than it does in pictures. Now, this is a limited trim, but we don't have the upgraded headlights, so it doesn't have that full LED light signature. Instead, it's got kind of these little tiers for the turn signals. But overall, I think it's a pretty decent looking truck. I can kind of take it or leave it. I know certainly a little polarizing to some people, but that's just my opinion.
I actually love it, Tommy. It's really grown on me. I really like the look of the thing. I think it's very aggressive, very kind of bold and masculine. And you know what? Limited in Toyota speak is the mid-grade model, right? And this one we've only bought with actually two options. You know what those are?
What are they?
The paint.
Yep.
That's almost a $500 option. And of course, we got the TRD package, as you can see over there on the butt of the thing.
TRD 4x4 off-road. Now, I think the best looking Tundra is actually the Pro. However, we couldn't get the Pro. It's not out till next year. And then we also couldn't get the hybrid. So as much as we wanted to get the twin turbo V6 hybrid, it was not available. So instead we have the standard twin turbo V6, which makes 389 horsepower, nearly 400 horsepower, and something like 470 pound-feet of torque. Now, we did see the departure of the 5.7 V8, which is one of those things where folks online are also pretty upset about, but I think that the twin turbo is a welcome addition, especially up here at altitude.
Yeah, you know, we paid a lot for this, Tommy. It was $57,000. And we paid Colorado taxes, which are, gosh, 8%. I think out the door it was almost $64,000. That is a lot of money for a mid-grade full-size truck. I remember when you can get these things for like 30K.
Now, of course, that 5.7, the 3UR, was one of the most legendarily durable engines maybe to ever grace a full-size truck. So we're going to have to wait and see long-term reliability on how the 3.5 twin turbo is. Of course, 1,200 miles, not nearly enough time to get a gauge on longevity. We got to start driving this more, Dad.
Oh yeah, we have to drive it more. But you know what? The other thing that made that engine, well, I would say outstanding, but some would say outlandish. You know what that is?
The exhaust?
The fuel economy.
Oh yeah, the fuel economy on the V8 was pretty bad. Although I will say I am a little bit disappointed on the fuel economy on the V6. We're averaging somewhere around 17 miles per gallon.
No, we're doing more than that. We're doing like, we can look, but I think it's more like almost
more
18.
Like 17.1.
No, more like 18 to 19.
I don't know if it's that good, Dad.
Well, we'll
it depends
check.
on
We'll
who's
check.
driving it, certainly.
I have been driving this, and I'm telling you, it's more like almost 19. So let me show you the favorite part of this truck. It's right here, right? You know this. Here, watch what happens. You gotta get over here, show them. You're gonna miss the action.
I see the action.
No, the action is right here.
I think folks will get the idea. There you get it.
That never gets old. It really doesn't. It's such an interesting feature. What makes it so interesting is that they hid it in the taillight. And I gotta say, the other thing about this truck, which is a little, well, disappointing, is that this is really the most unique thing about the truck, right? In other ways, it's pretty much a standard full-size truck that now competes with the Silverado, the F-150, the Ram 1500, and the Titan. But this is the most innovative function of the truck. They've gone to coils in the back, got rid of the leaf springs, and of course they've gone to a twin turbo V6, but Ford did that a long time ago. The hybrid, which is coming, is also something that Ford is doing currently. In fact, it's Andre's truck.
So I do think that this was a cool feature. It was kind of a thoughtful thing. I do think that they should have integrated some more access into the bed from the rear portion of the vehicle, maybe like the Silverado style bumper steps. I think there is an available drop-down step, but don't quote me on that, but I think it is available. However, the bed is pretty useful. Of course, it is a one-piece composite material, as you can see. There could be a few more structural tie-downs in the base portion of the bed, maybe along the posts. We do have the rails, though, of course, up top. And then the rails continue along the cab portion of the bed as well, which is a nice feature.
Yeah.
Overall, I think they did a pretty good job with
Yeah,
the bed.
but for 64K, dude, where's my onboard power here? Where's the lighting in the bed, except for the light up there? You know, I mean, it feels like for that kind of money, okay, it's 57, you know, with tax 64. You should get that. But I did, look, Tommy, look, I added one little feature because it makes it look more off-roady. I'm not sure you'd want to actually use that.
Is that Harbor Freight?
It might be Harbor Freight.
Yeah, that's a good way to lose an arm. So as we come along to the side of the truck, this of course is the crew cab configuration, and very useful back seat as well. Toyota did a really nice job with the back seat design overall. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head how it compares to the previous generation. It might be a little smaller. What do you think, Dad? But still very usable overall.
Yeah, let me sit and show them how much room there is. I mean, the cool thing, of course, is in the non-hybrid, you have under seat storage.
Yeah, quite a lot of it.
Yeah, we've already got a recovery gear in here. And then let me sit down. Look, plenty of room. Look at that, huge amount. We don't have a sunroof, which would take away some of the room, but this is very comfortable.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Plenty of leg room. This seat, by the way, is all the way back, Tommy. You know, it's hugely comfortable. And like I say, one of my favorite features is kind of this white, pointy aero material that's hidden in the seat.
Cool.
I think that's really well done.
From certain angles, the interior looks pure black, and then from others, you do get this kind of white inlay. That is a very nice touch that Toyota has incorporated. All right, I'll jump in on the other side and we'll show off the interior.
Let me show one more feature, and that is up there in the mountains. See those clouds? It means it's snowing in the mountains, and hopefully this weekend we're going to get some snow, and we're going to take this in the mountains and see what it's like in the snow. Speaking of snow, what are the tires like before you hop in?
They are...
Are they snow rated, or are they just mud and snows?
Got to take a look at the brand. Falcon Wild Peaks, that's right, didn't want to get that wrong.
They're M&S. They're all seasons.
This is the TRD Off-Road Equipped Tundra, which has kind of a more aggressive tire on it. It's not quite a full all-terrain, but it's okay. And then, of course, a TRD wheel. You can see 20-inch wheels on this model. I think for an off-road trim, they should come standard with 18s, make them a little bit smaller with a slightly beefier sidewall, but that is what Toyota chose to equip on the new Tundra. All right, let's go ahead and hop on in. Chrome door handles on this model. Now, the reason we got the limited is A, because Toyota said that was probably the quickest one that we could get. We wanted to be first. And then being the mid-grade trim, we still have some cool options in this model, which are fun to show off. Do you mind turning the truck around so we're not shooting into the sun?
Yeah, I will, but before I do that, let me show you my favorite feature. Why don't you point it back? Look at that. That is cool, Tommy. And Toyota has done this since, you know, the last generation. And I think that's a really cool feature that allows, like, Blaze, our dog, to stick his head out the back when he's sitting in the back seat, which is pretty darn cool. I'll turn the truck around, maybe get us into the shade here. Oh, I'm hitting some grass.
Oh, the frame rate is not happy with the camera. I do apologize for the flashing. Oh no!
Doesn't like it?
No, it is not having a good day here.
Do you want me to?
There we go. That's a little better.
How about if I get it? There you go.
I think it's just the frame rate issue with the screen.
Yeah.
So when we look at the interior, Toyota did, I think, a really good job with the interior of the Tundra. This is probably the highlight of the vehicle, is the material quality. The overall design is very premium. I like that it's kind of blocky and basic, but yet everything is very well assembled. We do have a soft touch dash for this main portion here. Some kind of interesting designs for the trim panels. Nice big chunky air vents on the corners, and of course the toggle switches. Got to have toggle switches.
Yeah, I was just looking at the fuel economy. That is a little terrifying.
Yeah, 14.2. What are you talking about? Better than 17?
I don't know. I think that I don't know. We've been. You know why that is? I think we've been towing with this truck, so don't take that as our regular fuel economy. I think we've been using it to tow stuff. We've been using it as a work truck, so that is not a realistic amount of fuel economy.
So some other cool stuff that you'll see in here. Really love the attention to detail. Like on the volume knob, they've put this very, very high quality ribbing, and then these little itty bitty almost exposed screw heads, or fake exposed screw heads. That looks really nice. More toggles across the middle. Toggles always make a vehicle feel more premium. Down here along the center, a couple things. Now the TRD model Tundras have the rear locking diff. Oh, I made it upset. Oh, you're showing off the camera, huh?
I am. Look at that.
The slammed Tundra on the screen.
Yeah. At least it's got the right color. I think that's kind of cool.
I think you can change the color.
Yeah, you can manually change it.
Can't you? Yeah, look, you can actually go ahead and make it white or green. Really confuse folks.
So if you're Tim, for instance, our friend Tim, you could hit it and make it blue because this is blue. Thank you, Tim, by the way, from Truck and SUV Talk for getting a blue one and not a red one like ours.
This screen has been under fire from quite a number of folks over the usability. I personally, oh there you go, 17.2 was our previous best. I personally actually really like the screen. If I can get this thing to stop flashing, come on. It's the issue with doing this live and unedited, Dad. I find the screen to be extremely usable and very, very intuitive. It's probably one of my favorite systems in the industry, actually, just the quality, the size of the screen.
Hey, dude, Andreas put himself in as a primary driver. How did that
He
happen?
is a primary driver.
I guess he is the primary driver, and I'm just a guest.
The connectivity is really good. I really am pleased with the quality of the screen and how they incorporate it. Plus, it's not just like stuck on the dash. It's compared to some more modern vehicles, well integrated.
The other thing we don't have is phone charging. That's another upgrade. But the thing that I think I missed the most is, and you were talking about this earlier, Tommy, is you've got 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low, but no 4 auto.
I do think that was a pretty big miss on Toyota's part. 4 auto is something that a lot of especially modern day truck consumers are looking for, especially in a vehicle used with families and maybe folks that aren't familiar with the manual selectable transfer case. That is a big safety item, so I really wish they would have incorporated that.
Yeah, I think like what happens is if you put it in 4 high and you're on, let's say, dry, it's going to crab. Then if you're in a situation like I'm going up the mountains this weekend trying to get this thing in some snow, I'm going to have to put it in 4 high, and if I leave it in that on the snow, it's fine, but if it goes into some dry territory, it's going to cause minor issues. Anyway, we do have different drive modes. Did you see that?
Yep, those are well integrated, including tow haul mode, and then of course multi-terrain select, so you can kind of change and go through the different modes. They will of course appear on the central display, which is pretty cool. And then if we had 4 low, we could engage some of the crawl control functionality.
Did you know that there are in fact two tow haul modes? One is for like light hauling and towing, and the other is for heavy. And so that's why we actually iked it twice, because the first time one of our keen viewers noticed that we had it in the wrong tow haul mode, not the heavy one.
So what do you think of the lack of the fully digital gauge cluster, even at 50?
I like analog gauges. I'm good with analog gauges.
Okay, very well integrated brake controller, very nice. And then I love the steering wheel on the new Tundra. Lots of nice design, and then the perforated leather looks really quite good.
Yeah, and you know, I do like the way this thing rides and drives. You know, look, it's a truck and it's going to drive and ride like a truck, but it doesn't ride and drive like a heavy-duty truck, which is nice. And I think the coil springs have actually smoothed out the ride, made it a little bit softer. One of the things that is a little challenging is because it's so squarey and boxy, the sight lines aren't great, but that's the same for like the new Silverado, right? So when you're off-roading, it's really hard to tell where, you know, the rock begins and the fender or the skirt ends, you know?
I think you've identified what I would consider a fairly big problem. The windshield is very squatty.
It is.
And the hood is extremely tall, so it's very hard to identify not only rocks, but also pedestrians and kids in strollers located in front of the truck, which is why the front camera is a very important feature. But I think that they could have done a better job with especially forward visibility in this vehicle.
Yeah, but it looks, you know, I mean, once again, maybe it's style over substance, but the last generation was really long in the tooth, and we did get to actually drive them back to back, and there is no difference, Tommy. I mean, there's a huge difference between this one and the old one. This just feels modern and up to date and fresh and new and just really kind of the moment. Now, is it better than a Silverado? The interior, yes. I think this interior is actually better than a Silverado's. Is it better than an F-150? I'm not sure. I do like the fact that a lot of the places you touch are soft touch, right? So there's not like hard plastics like where I leave my elbows. But up here, I mean, that you know, that's hard plastic. But here, it's soft. Interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, unless you're having a cookout on the top of your dash, the quality of the plastic is not as big of a deal. Now, one thing I think Andre has identified, which is a shortcoming. So I love that like the passenger seat does have lumbar support, but the seat cushion is too short and does not offer taller drivers nearly enough under thigh support. Now, it would be cool to have an extendable cushion down here, or at least a longer base portion of the seat. So I do think that was a pretty big miss on Toyota's part.
Well, Andre is 6'3", as he loves to tell me.
Yeah, but I'm six foot on a good day, and I still think, like, I mean, look at the amount of thigh that hangs over the actual seat base.
Yeah, I don't find that a problem. I do find that the seats are a little bit pokey in some places, right? I'd like them to be a little bit more cushy, and that could have to do with my, you know, age. I hate to say it, but I like comfy, cushy, floaty seats, and these are a little on the tough side.
So lots and lots of good storage cubbies in the Tundra. You do have slidable trays here, which are configurable, which is nice. And then we have USB ports, both USB-A and USB-C, as well as another one up here on the dashboard, which is a significant upgrade over the previous generation of Tundra. But here we've got some washboard roads, and the coil springs are handling these kind of rougher roads beautifully. The ride quality is definitely one of the big hits.
Yeah, but here's the thing that isn't a hit. If you want to go to navigation, it works. I thought, I bet you it's enabled. I thought we had to pay for it, but look.
Maybe we did pay for it.
No, I don't know. I don't think we paid for it.
Sure?
I think maybe, I don't know. So, there's been a lot of controversy because Toyota has gone to a subscription service for some of their functionality, like remote start. But that's, I think, after 3 years. Andre did a bunch of stories on it over at TFL Trucks, so I'm not going to talk to it because I don't want to get my facts wrong. But it's a little bit of a tempest in a teapot. I don't think it's such a big deal.
No sunroof on this model, which is probably okay for most folks, but it is an option, of course, on the Limited. You can get the big sunroof. Yeah, I mean, I think my overall consensus with this truck is that they've done a really good evolution of the Tundra. I think the quality still feels just as good as the old one, at least from a fit and finish standpoint, panel gap standpoint. I do think that they didn't move the bar as much as some folks were expecting, considering the old one was around for over a decade, but that's kind of the Toyota way, right? It's more small incremental improvements versus vast leaps in technology. So if you were expecting fully electric capability or big twin turbo V8s, that just really isn't the Toyota way. I think the twin turbo V6, it's been around in several other products, including the Lexus LS. It's quite proven now that it's been in market for several years. So I do think that there is some Tundra DNA in this vehicle, although it's not revolutionary.
Look, I'm going to give Toyota huge props for actually getting the thing built when they said they would get it built. We're living in a world of COVID and supply chain issues, and Toyota was actually able to build this when they said, and there are so many other major manufacturers, and I'm talking to, of course, Ford, I'm talking to Rivian, that had promised Cybertruck, that have promised things and now are over a year delayed. So, it's a truck that you can actually go out and buy, and if I were to put it kind of in the hierarchy of full-size trucks, I would put it right up there now with the Ram, the Ford, and the Chevy. It's as good, if not better in a lot of ways. That's my personal opinion. How about you, Tommy?
Sorry, the little rattles you hear is because we're on a terrible washboard road.
Yeah, it's not the truck. It's just, I took it on here on purpose just because I wanted to see what it felt like on a washboard.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that it's a very solid entry, but I think you're missing the value component. I'm not sure that this truck feels like a mid-$50,000 vehicle. Maybe that's just because that's the world we live in now, but I do feel like for the mid-$50,000 I would expect a heated steering wheel. I do expect...
We have heated seats.
Yeah, and ventilated seats is nice, but there's just some functionality that I would expect in what I would consider a luxury vehicle price that just isn't equipped on this Tundra.
But you know what? I think that's not just Toyota. I think you're going to find the same with Ford, with Chevy. Every time I wake up, there's an announcement of a manufacturer increasing the base price of a truck. It's just, we're living in these super inflationary times, and so I got to wrap my head around the fact now that these trucks are much more expensive than they were once upon a time.
Well, let us know what you guys think in the comment section below.
Yeah, and we'd love to get your opinion on what else you'd like to see us do with the truck. I think that certainly putting it into the snow is one of the things I want to see. Once again, a lot of it has to do with tires. These are mud and snow rated, which means they're all seasons, so those are always a compromise. What else, Tommy, can we do with it? We could take it to, how about the ranch?
Yeah, we'll take it to the ranch. We'll do some payload tests, some off-road tests, further off-road tests. But we'll be sure to catch up with you guys next time on another episode.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you next time. Ciao.